Now that's how you do a Stephen King adaptation.
Hi guys, welcome to Immediate Review, where we see a movie in theaters and review it immediately in my car. We just saw The Shawshank Redemption.
You say that like it's not one of the greatest movies ever made.
Okay, yeah.
The Shawshank Redemption.
So it's my favorite movie ever made in the world, and it's very late, which is why I may sound less enthusiastic. But the movie's fucking incredible. What do you guys think?
Oh shit. I mean, goddamn, this is just one of those staple classic. You haven't seen this movies. It's just I don't know. As Ben Mankiewicz said at the beginning, it's like the greatest prison film of all time, and it's definitely one of the best Stephen King adaptations ever. And it is just inspirational in all the right ways. Has a perfect amount of like suspension of disbelief and like character dynamics and character development, and God, it is just a wonderful, wonderful film. Mampton.
I'd have to say, independently from being a Stephen King adaptation, the film has taken on almost a life of its own, being just a classic, iconic film in itself. Lots of people have seen it that don't even know that it's a Stephen King adaptation, or have only seen it on television, seen bits and pieces. But it's a masterpiece that goes beyond the source material, and I think it really stands the test of time, and it makes you care about the characters and uses interesting ways to convey like almost a co-protagonist approach.
Protagonist. What are some of our favorite scenes and moments, Peter? Let's talk about some of your favorite stuff.
Oh man, scenes and moments. Them spreading tar on the roof.
Yep, I know. I came back from the bathroom. I was so pissed I missed the beginning of that. Sorry.
That scene like brings me to tears, man. It's just like, especially, I don't know. This whole movie is completely directed by narration. Like, there is narration throughout the entire movie from beginning to end. And in a lot of cases, like with Ad Astra, like there's narration in it, and it doesn't work very well.
I was thinking about that.
And this movie does it so fucking well. Like, not just because it's Morgan Freeman doing the narration.
This movie started that cliche.
Yeah. Like it just does narration so incredibly well. It's like, it's crazy. It's like in every other movie that it happens, most of the time I don't like it.
Yeah, just character does something, I'm telling you about it, blah blah blah, and it's beautiful.
Yeah. And it's so emotional, and it's tied in, combined with a soundtrack that is always fucking on point for the tone that the movie is trying to convey. It is just every scene, every time there's music, it's fucking perfect. It just does everything so well.
I think part of why the narration works is because it's like, it doesn't feel like it's kind of like needlessly explaining or like talking down or worried that you don't understand what's going on. It just feels like almost just someone telling you about it, someone genuinely telling you a story, and not just like spoon feeding you the plot.
Well, it's because you're not going to really hear it from the characters because they're in prison and they're pretty tight-lipped, and so you kind of hear it through the narrator as something that you probably wouldn't necessarily get all that exposition from normally.
So moments and stuff, though, specifically, like narration overall and tar scene. Yeah, what else?
Okay, scenes that I love. The scene where he first talks to Red, and he kind of has the narration about how he just has this walk about him, and that he strolls without a care in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And,
that's one of them inspirational, feel-giddy moments.
Yeah, like, it just like really lets you connect with the character. Oh man, there's so many moments in this movie that I love. you know, even some of the darker stuff, like the warden killing Tommy, and you know, these like,
I forget about that scene every time.
yeah, man, like that scene's excellent, and like him coming back in and, you know, throwing back into Andy's face his whole, you know, or am I being obtuse, and, you know, giving him another month in the hole after he's, you know, just like, I don't know, you know, all this stops.
There's a lot of things come back around in this movie. I think that's
Yeah.
part of what makes it so satisfying, is there are
Yeah.
so many themes that are reinforced and driven home and repeated. I mean, like when Red does the same exact thing as Brooks, but he like ends it differently, and just that line, like you were saying, am I being obtuse, and just everything. Matt, what are some of your favorite moments?
One of my favorite scenes is when he gets his cell tossed for the first time after the roof tarring scene, where, you know, they're looking at everything, and he has a hold of his Bible that whole time. He even leaves the cell with his Bible, and he hands it back to him, which seems like nothing until, you know, later on in the movie when you find out that's where he was keeping the tool of his escape the entire time, and it kind of like makes you think back to like the mindset of Andy when he's tossing the cell and he's holding the book. You see him, he's just playing it cool the whole time. You're like, damn.
Well, and yeah, in terms of like resolutions, when the warden hands it back to Andy, he says, "I wouldn't want to take this from you. Salvation lies within," and that's what. That's what
bringing it back again.
And,
you were
yeah,
right.
He
The key to
leaves
salvation.
He leaves it in the Bible that he gives to the warden at the very end before the police show up.
He didn't even notice that it wasn't his like log book. It was just the Bible.
Yep.
Frank Darabont killed it with the screenplay. I had no idea. I knew that he had done A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, but I didn't know the only movies he'd done were the remake of The Blob, Elm Street 3, and The Fly 2. Like, that is a smutty filmography. And then it's just like, oh yeah, Shawshank Redemption. It's a lot like Peter Jackson.
Right.
He's just got these like crazy obscene films, and then it's just like, oh, here's one of the greatest movies ever. It's like, obviously more B horror movie directors need to be given bigger budgets, but yeah, I would say.
And then we get Ryan Johnson's as well, so there's a balance.
Yep. Okay, but I would say, you know, my favorite scene, I mean, this is kind of the obvious answer, but like the finale, when it's explaining how Andy escapes, and just the shot of, you know, the warden finding the hole and the camera pans out. It's such a good shot. They show it fucking twice in the movie.
And it sets off that kind of TV and movie cliche from then on of showing you after the fact how somebody did it.
Yeah.
Because I can't remember something before this one.
Well, a lot of movies have done that before. It had happened. I can't name, like, you know, what was like the first, but it had been around for quite some time. But I was thinking about it, and this is one of the movies that does it best. The whole, like, you see a scene play out, and then, like, later it flashes back from a different perspective, and you see how it really played out. You know, movies like the Ocean's movies kind of, like, make that feel routine for me, where this one just feels, I don't know, great.
The whole movie just plays through,
genuine.
and then it just shows you like a little highlight reel of what was really going down.
Yeah, and it's fantastic. A little moment I love now that I just never really caught before is when he like takes him in the projector booth, and he's like, "Get out." The guy's like, "But I need to change the reel."
Yep.
And then he's like, "I said, get out."
People will be coming in there sooner rather than later, being like, "What the fuck's up with the movie?"
Yeah.
What the fuck's up with the and but aside from the ending, I'd say Andy Dufresne fucking getting his books and everything's going great and things are coming up Andy, and then he just says fuck it and throws on a record for everybody to listen to.
Yep.
And plays it throughout the prison.
You little fuck.
and just
When they're like, turn that off, he cranks it.
turns it
It's
up,
just
man.
like-
Looks
looks
him
him
right in the eye,
Yeah,
dude.
man.
As he's doing it, he's like, nope.
Like, it really is just, it's such a well crafted fucking movie. Are there anything we've like never noticed before? I think the last time I watched this was like 2-3 years ago, maybe. When was the last time you watched this, Matt?
Probably the last time I had cable. So it's been a
Damn.
for a while.
So I think the thing that that I noticed that I haven't was the kind of arc that Red and Andy go down in regards to hope.
Yes.
On how Red is constantly like, hope is dangerous. You're gonna.
Same here.
Like,
Same here.
And it all happens right at the very end, like at the scene when he gets out of the 2-month solitary. He's just talking about how like what he hopes, and when he's just like, no, like like the hope is dangerous and all this stuff, then that's when Andy like starts freaking out and
Look what
decides
happened to
like
Brooks.
I just gotta fucking do it. And he goes through this kind of fear of hoping for what the outside is going to bring him, and then as he's heading to like literally right before he walks on the beach, he says at the end of the narration, like, I hope. Like, he's talking about all the stuff that he hopes to do. He hopes to see his friend, and hopes that everything works out. And just ends it with just I hope in general, and he finally feels free enough to see hope in the world is like a beautiful thing.
Yeah, man. I think, yeah, I agree. I hadn't noticed those themes as much before either, and I think part of it is I've seen it on TV so much. I think the TV version kind of separates that so much that you don't really focus on it.
Yeah.
Like, because you're getting berated with ads. By the way, yeah, the entire Brooks sequence is just like, that could be a short film
Oh yeah.
on its own and win every accolade. Like,
Yeah, just like
it's fucking amazing.
just end with he should have died in here. Just boom, fade to black.
I didn't tear up. If we were watching this at Hollywood Theater and we were watching like a beautiful film print with like good sound and a full audience reacting, I probably would have. But like, there was like a family in there with us. It was like us and a family, and like an old
Yeah,
guy.
it's probably what 9 people total in the theater, and that's with us.
Yeah.
Right?
And but it was still great. Movie's a movie, and yeah.
Yeah, the sound in our theater was not great though.
I know it was basically mono. It was like the
Yeah.
front 2 speakers, nothing else.
Yeah.
And we looked it up, and this movie was mixed in Dolby Digital. The truth is out there.
Yeah, and the print didn't look like amazingly like awesome either. Like, it seemed like they could have easily just put a Blu-ray on and threw it into a projector and had it play for us, but it was still cool.
Yeah. It condition-wise, it was incredible.
Yeah.
But they definitely did some digital noise reduction. It didn't ruin the movie, but it was just definitely noticeable. Basically, the way you can tell is like you can't see any pores on the actor's face at all, and their skin looks very like waxy. And yeah, that would be image-wise my only negative, but it was not as bad as like fucking Predator or some other. There have been some legendarily terrible digital noise reduction jobs, but that one was not one of them. But overall, still fun night.
Great film, fun time.
Are there any criticisms? I mean, like any valid criticisms that we can think of?
Lack of full penetration. You know, we just hear all this like tease and talk of like a good time in the showers, and we never get to see Andy in like a true like event.
We need to see it to fully experience it.
And he wouldn't be Tim Robbins anymore. He'd be Tim Robbins.
Honestly, you're joking, but in a way you are right, because like the rape stuff isn't portrayed too horrific. It doesn't fully get across just how bad it is to get gang raped by men frequently. Like, there were kids in the audience, and I don't think they fully understand how bad it is.
Yeah, and it kind of gives it to you a little bit at the beginning, and just like you have like 2 instances where you actually see like a fight going on, and you get the whole like I wish I could tell you Andy fought the good fight.
Yeah, I get it.
But they wrap it up pretty quick. Like, they're just like, let's get it over with. Like, Boggs never walked again. Like, Andy's good like forever. Let's get on with the plot now.
The guard like beat this guy, paralyzed this guy on behalf of Andy, because he helped him out with the money situation, but then for the rest of the film, he has like no sympathy for him.
Yeah, it's more of a just like, yeah, you're a good guy, like, cool, but I still like beating the shit.
Yeah, he's still a fucking
criminals.
Asshole prison guard through it. I mean, he's a cop, man.
Yeah.
Straight up.
But I would say it doesn't by any means ruin the movie. Like, the movie has such good suspension of disbelief and stuff, but it's just like there are little conveniences sprinkled throughout things. Like I was just thinking in my head when he's like, in that morning a man nobody had known walked into the bank, and I just think, smelling like shit. I'm just like,
no, they said they found soap.
He found soap.
Yeah, he took soap out with him, but
Oh,
still,
he did?
he's washing himself in like the runoff of the fucking of the shit.
And
So
just
it's
like
there'd
him being able to get to Buxton,
yeah,
in time and
Northern Maine
hide
area.
that with enough time to still book it, and like just little things like that. But like,
And go bury that money in the note under the tree.
yeah, it'll be right there. That same rock will be there.
and that's such a weird thing too. That when he brings that up, it's just like, hey, like, you ever heard of Buxton? All right, there's a tree out there. Fucked my wife. I want you to go there.
He does straight
Like,
made a picnic. And then I took her
Morgan
to the
Freeman
apple
just-
tree and made love to her.
When Morgan
Yeah, I'm
Freeman's
gonna.
questioning,
Just meet me there.
yeah, there's something there.
I
I
won't
want
tell
you
you
to
what
find underneath a random rock that you'd never suspect to look
It's
under.
got no earthly business
It's very
being there.
convenient for the movie that you just so happen to look right where it's at.
But it's like, it's fine. It's fine. It's like how there are all sorts of stupid little things in Jurassic Park. It's still like the greatest fucking smartest dinosaur movie. This is still the greatest smartest prison movie. Like, it's just, it's so good. Yeah, I mean,
and yeah, the like police officers can like, the officers of the prison can like beat the shit out of inmates and like kill them, and
With impunity.
and yeah, there's just like no
well,
repercussions.
I thought
at
that
all.
was more just it's the 40s and stuff.
I mean, yeah.
I think that they missed out on an opportunity for a subplot with that guard that was like brutally beating and murdering inmates, because like Andy helped him out, and it could have been like some kind of redemption arc, and he could have had like some internal conflict when he
Dude,
shoots the
I
guy.
smell a Shawshank Redemption miniseries. No.
I just think
Just go watch Orange is the New Black.
But no, I'm glad that we don't have that didn't happen, because it just kind of shows that, yeah, he's a piece of shit, but he has some sense of like, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. The warden doesn't want you getting hurt type mentality, but
Well,
he
that was
still
before.
ends up going to jail at the end, and
He
they
does.
say he cried like a little baby girl.
Okay, so that's the other thing. 30 years passes. Man, that's a lot of time, and those guys don't age at all.
20 years, I thought.
No, I think it's 30 years.
It's 19.
Oh, is it 19 years?
That's how long Andy was in prison. Yeah, 19 years.
Oh, okay.
By the end of it, Red has been there for 40.
40 to 66,
But,
and then Red.
Yeah,
Okay.
when Andy shows up, he's been in there for 20 years. And
Okay.
then we have markers that happen throughout, and he gets his
Andy
parole
gets a little
hearing.
gray. They tried with him.
Yeah.
But, like,
And
so 19 years ain't too bad.
Yeah.
I definitely buy Red, but it is just like the crew basically never changes.
Yeah.
Red to
Yeah,
gray.
the rest of the actors don't, but with Red, basically, when he's younger, he wears, like, hats and stuff, and they have, like,
You're right.
more makeup on him and stuff, and then as he gets older, he doesn't wear the hats, and they've kind of grayed up his hair, and he doesn't wear as much makeup, and they do a little bit of aging.
back when they needed to.
Because this was, like 25 years ago when this came out. So.
Yeah. I think they need to make a sequel. Bring back Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman, and the cops send someone down to Mexico to get him. And it's Andy Dufresne and Red on the run.
No, yeah, they're just down there looking for him, and they just so happen to stay at the hotel, and they're just like,
Yeah.
and then boom,
And they go watch.
you got a fucking epic chase action movie, Hobbs and Shaw style. Get the guy who did fucking
Hobbs and Shawshank.
the
Hobbs
Fast-
and Shawshank Redemption.
the
dude.
Hobbs and Shawshank Redemption, brilliant,
Oh,
dude.
man.
Fucking, we
Se-
sell
send
that
us
idea.
Send us a movie check.
Yeah, like we got it.
Right
We
here.
got those ideas. All right, like we know what the people want.
Put the shit weasels in it too.
That's right. Yeah, Stephen King. This shit.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
should make it crossover. Yeah, I guess that's really fucking all there is to say. This movie's fucking
Yeah.
amazing. If you haven't seen it, why are you watching this video?
Yeah, go watch the Shawshank Redemption,
Yeah.
then come back and then finish this video.
Yeah.
But ignore all the spoilers until you've watched it.
Oh, unless you're
So-
going to see Fathom Events, where Ben Mankiewicz will spoil the whole fucking movie before it happens.
Yeah, a good half of it. It's like, why is this happening? Why is this like spoiler alert? Like, come on, what's going on? But yeah, that was funny.
TCM is under the impression that you should have already watched the movie.
They did make up for it though, because the second half of
Yeah.
his speech was very cool.
All sorts
all
of-
the little tidbits about the making of the movie and
Yeah,
the dude.
I learned something today.
I learned things.
I learned that
Learning
the
is
Shawshank
good.
Redemption is awesome.
Things are good.
Knowing is half the battle.
All right,
And
get
it's
busy
great to
living,
learn.
get busy dying.